Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
And we have reached the end of July and the beginning of August, which only means that we have reached SummerSlam weekend. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, wherever you're listening, whatever time you are listening. I am your host of PWW Talks, Dale Burke, and I am joined as ever by my co-host and best friend for over 20 years, Mac.
Oh, shit.
Thanks again for coming on again this week. And you get to preview the big PLE, the second biggest one of the year. I feel like we were just here weeks ago.
Because we were.
Another great PLE, because they just keep stacking them on. So, now, for the first weekend of August, we are at SummerSlam, which it was always, when I was growing up, the sign of the end of summer, because it was usually the last week of August, like a day or two before actually I had to go back to school.
It's usually like the last weekend, if not the second to last, but it was almost always, I felt like the weekend before Memorial Day.
Yes.
Or whatever the weekend is.
Labor Day.
Labor Day, thank you.
Yes. But for me, it was always like the sign of, SummerSlam is happening, and then I have to go back to school. So, I do work for public school now, so it's just like, well, it's kind of like that now. Except they've kind of scaled back in doing that. Now it's been more at the middle of the month. And of course, this time, SummerSlam will be taking place the same weekend that SummerSlam 97 took place, the Heart and Soul event in New Jersey, which that was the last time that they were in New Jersey for SummerSlam, was in 1997, and that took place on August 3rd. And that was a memorable show. And considered, if you look at the top 25 SummerSlam matches that WWE Vault had put together on their YouTube page, the main event between Bret Hart and The Undertaker was named one of the top 25 matches in SummerSlam history. And we could be seeing a few that are going to take place this weekend. That hasn't been, on paper, yeah, there's some great matches on this card. And then there are some matches on this card that it's like, we're doing this again? Kind of like the match that me and Mac were talking about in the pre-show. Because he told me the stipulation.
Oh, shit.
And I was just like, you've got to be shitting me. You're joking, right? And no, he wasn't joking. It was confirmed by Wikipedia. So why don't we talk about the least important match of the entire weekend? Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross Part 2. And this time it's happening stateside instead of being in Saudi Arabia.
More like Part Blah.
Ugh.
I understand that they're, especially with the reaction that Karrion Kross has gotten across social media. He has a book coming out, I believe.
Across social media, let's get that straight ahead.
I agree.
Like, that's what people need to understand, the perspective I'm coming from. Social media and television are two different things. And also in front of a live audience. It ain't mathin'. The reaction, it just ain't mathin'. His social media presence next to his on-camera / in front of a live audience presence.
The thing is, it's like, there's two things I'm going to say about Karrion Kross very quickly here. One is, he's a phenomenal promo. I have to give that to him.
Yes.
He really is. I just feel that ever since they called him up, whether it was the first time, before he got released, or this time, he's kind of floundered on the main roster. And I feel like part of that is the talent that he works with. And I'm not blaming Sami Zayn. I'm not blaming AJ Styles. I'm not blaming anybody else. It's just he's only as good as the person he's with. And if that does not match the style, it's not going to work. Ironically, I feel like the best match he had on the main roster was with Bobby Lashley. Because him and Bobby Lashley could actually fight each other.
Yes.
Legitimately fight each other.
Yes.
Everybody else, no, because Karrion Kross doesn't really shoot wrestle. Karrion Kross tries to really wrestle, really try to fight people. And it doesn't work. Not for everybody. And it's not going to work again this time against Sami Zayn for the second time.
He is not. He is one of the most boring in-ring performers when he's up against somebody that he can't work with. And he's somebody that needs to be booked in more of a realistic kind of feel. Good night, sweetheart. Wow. The
cornbread, damn it, cornbread.
Yes, he's a great promo. But in ring, he is boring if he is not up against somebody that he can go with. And he lacks chemistry with people that are more of an entertaining. And I think part of that is because of the fact of maybe he's unwilling to sell against guys that are. That article came out, and then everybody was just like, well, that's the weekend of that Sami Zayn match that he had in Saudi Arabia, where I'm just like, okay, so he's going to sell now because he's heard all these criticisms. And because I saw his matches before then, people were kind of right. He didn't like selling. Because again, it's like, ultimately, my problem with Karrion Kross is, it's the fact of that he wants to try to come off as this MMA bad bass, but he's too much of a pussy not to get MMA.
I don't want to say that because I've seen some of that stuff, and I just going to say it that way. I've seen that stuff, and I'm not saying that. But I feel like if you look at guys very similar to what you're saying right now, and I'm thinking back into the 90s with Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock, right? They could work. They had the MMA background.
Yes.
But they could also work. They could also sell. And while, yes, Blackman is probably known more for his hardcore titles and his hardcore matches, especially the one against Shane McMahon.
Don't forget Head Cheese.
I actually did forget about that until you said it. Shit.
Don't forget Head Cheese.
I can't forget Head Cheese now. That's an image that's not going to leave my head anytime soon. Thanks a lot. But
you're welcome.
Yeah. 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 But again, I look at those guys and what they were able to do in a wrestling ring outside of MMA. They still were able to kind of make it work. I think there's a difference, though, with Karrion Kross, where I feel like he's not really the biggest striker, but he's a big, big grappler, right? And there's nothing really inherently wrong with that, but that needs to amount to something, and right now, it's just not happening. And to your point, and this is why I brought up those other two guys, they could sell. Yes. They did sell. But Karrion Kross...
I always thought Shamrock was an underrated seller.
Not when he took that chair shot to the face from The Rock, I can tell you that.
That still was a great sell.
Oh, 100%. 100% was a great sell.
Which he even admitted, he did in a shoot interview saying that he told Rock, he's just like, you got to hit me in the face.
Swing for the fences. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, it won't hurt because it's like you're just hitting my face. It's not like at the top of my, like, it's not on the top of the skull, the temple, which turns out in the end, that was the correct move because it just wasn't like at the top of the head. It was more, yeah, my nose is going to break it. It's going to hurt for my nose, but I'm really not concerned about like the top of the head.
Right.
So it was actually kind of smart of him to sell it the way that he did instead of just like, cause like taking an Undertaker chair shot. Like you see that, that first Hell in a Cell match he had with Shawn Michaels when he hit Michaels with that fucking, oh God. That might have been a receipt also too, because of Shawn's personality back then, because he rubbed people the wrong way. So he might have been kind of, as they say, sticking up for the locker room a little bit. But so to say, you know what's funny? Did you see the clip going around online of Shawn asking him, were you actually waiting backstage at WrestleMania 14 to see that if I was going to do the favor for Steve Austin, I guess Sean had asked him about it a number of years ago, and Taker lied to him about it. Said no, that didn't happen, and then Taker confirmed the story on a later like podcast, and then Sean was just like, "So I got to get confirmation on that because you told me that no, that didn't happen, and then now all of a sudden, well, it did happen. So did it happen or not?"
Who knows? We'll
And-
never know.
No, Taker didn't tell him. He's like, "Yeah, it did happen."
Oh, he did tell him.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
like,
he
no.
actually let it out.
He's like, I didn't want to tell you when you first asked me, only because of the fact that like we're good, and I didn't want it to affect our relationship. And then Sean was just like, well, it wouldn't have if you told me the truth too. Like if you told me then, it wouldn't have bothered me. But he's just like, no, I understand. He's like, I rub people the way. But that chair shot, like, literally was like brutal. And some of the like I go back to the Rock and Mankind I Quit match where Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, man.
that still to me is the most unwatchable, other than Chris Benoit matches. The Mankind Rock match from Royal Rumble '99 is considerably unwatchable in my mind. It's very hard to watch it. This match to me is falling on that category for other reasons, not because of the fact that it's going to be brutal, because of the fact I'm just like, why is this even happening? Considering the fact that Sami Zayn, you can make an argument, would have been a deserving member of winning the Money in the Bank instead of Seth Rollins. Or someone that's
so
even
hold
in the
on a
main
second.
event scene.
Hold on. Before we even say that, right? There's another guy who we both thought should have won,
Yeah!
Yes,
and he's not even on this card.
I know.
But somehow this made the cut.
I know.
Just throwing that out there. I might as well get that part out of the way right now. There's a lot of people, not just the guys, but a lot of girls that deserve to be on this card, and they're not even there.
No.
And I think if this is the replacement of some of those talent, I'll say it that way, it's dog shit. I'm sorry.
It is. There are performers on this card that deserve to be there that are far more popular than the personalities that are on this card, especially in this matchup. And I'm not talking about Sammy. I am not talking about Sammy whatsoever. Karrion Kross cannot meet the star power of a lot of the people on this roster. But for some reason, he's put there front and center because some people online really like him. Do I like Karrion Kross as a promo? Yeah, I do. But my problem is that there are far better workers on the roster. And there are far that might be not an A promo, but might be a B or C promo. But their work is a B or an A. And I look at Karrion Kross's work, to me, is a C or a D. And I would rather have someone that is a B or an A worker, but might be a B or a C promo.
Well, let's put it this way, right? Because I don't know what else we could actually say about this match itself. This is probably why we're talking about it first, but I felt like I organized this in what I felt like should be booked correctly in order of importance. Obviously, this is a night one match. Start night one. I mean, you could do a lot worse, but not by much. I think my biggest problem is twofold, right? So the first thing that I just kind of said right before you said what you have just said is that it's just he's not a great in-ring worker right now, and you're really not utilizing him at all on television except for these attacks on Sami Zayn, which is just stupid. The other factor here for me too is, and I said this the last time that these two fought at the PLE, I said he needs to show up in this match. That is what I said about Karrion Kross. If he does not show up for SummerSlam in this match, why are you keeping him? Why are you keeping him? So before we end this conversation about this match, let's just reiterate here, there is a special stipulation to this match.
Jesus
If
Christ.
Karrion
We
Kross
need to go over
wins,
this.
We might as well, because it's part of the match. If Karrion Kross wins, Sammy has to say Kross was right. If Zayn wins, Kross has to say he was wrong about Sammy. Who the hell cares? Why is that necessary? He beat you once. Why do we have a stipulation on the second match? It's probably not going to be a rubber match. If there is, God forbid. God help us now.
Oh, God. Hopefully the rubber match is just like if loser leaves town and Karrion Kross loses. Like, it's I just, they're going to give him a bunch of money. He's going to make out well from this contract. I don't understand why. I don't understand why he needs to, like, is his book a biography? What is it supposed to be?
As far as I am aware, I believe it is, yeah.
Because there are a lot of guys that have had far more accomplishments in their career that should have gotten a book, but he's getting one. I don't care how great a story is. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know, damn it. I don't know.
I don't know. I just, maybe the match will be infinitely better if Scarlett has a wardrobe malfunction.
Hey now.
Yep. Hey now.
Let's not get canceled now, okay? We're living in the society right now.
I said what I said, and I kept it relatively PG.
Yes, you did. But we live in a society right now where people are freaking out and upset and are being toxic about Sydney Sweeney being in an American Eagle jean ad.
I don't even care. I listen. If you want to be upset about that, be upset about it. But if you are upset about it, you're in the minority. I apologize.
Check your priorities, by the way.
That too.
It's just really, folks. You're mad about this. You're mad. Out of everything else that's going on in the world, we're mad about this. Really? Come on.
You know what we can be mad about? It's the next match.
Is it Lyra Valkyria versus?
No.
Damn it! Because that would be the second. This is because that match, in my opinion, is tied as far as matter of importance.
I believe there are 3 to be tied for.
That's fair.
That is night 2, though. On night 1, the next match that I have listed here is Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Logan Paul. And hopefully
maybe
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. Maybe Drew McIntyre.
Hopefully.
Now the question is, who's going to be his replacement if it's not Drew McIntyre?
I'm just going to say it this way. It has to be somebody that is just an epic douchebag to match Logan Paul. And I'm not saying that Drew McIntyre is a douchebag. Don't read into that. I'm saying it has to be somebody on an equal level of douchiness as Logan Paul.
I mean, and Dominic Mysterio is already booked on the card, so you can't use.
He's night 2 though, so it could technically
That's true.
be Dom.
He could do back to back, even though the doctor note, like, you could do a storyline and get him out of the next night where he performs the night before, and he's just like, I re-aggravated my injury. Here's my doctor's note. And it's just like, we can't get it verified until tomorrow, so we have to book to see, and then just book. But, then that keeps AJ Styles, which they've really done a very funny job with the lead into that match of just AJ showing up at like different places, just waiting on him to get cleared. Like, they really did a hell of a job booking that.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
But this is just, you're right, though. This is like a 3-way tie about the card. But as far as night 1 is concerned, I understand they want to get headlines. Maybe it'll be better than the Jay Leno fiasco. Logan Paul's a better worker than I thought he would be. My problem is that it's just like, enough of this guy. Just enough. Yeah,
I just can't with. Like, he is a worse version of himself in real life on the TV. And that's my biggest issue with it, right? Like, I personally cannot stand it. And you know, we haven't really heard much about Drew and if he's able to get his passport situation all straightened out. We really don't know. We haven't heard much about
I wonder
it.
if that was brought up with certain people today by Triple H, because he was with certain people today. You think he could have made a conversation? Hey, so I'm in a bit of a bind. Do you think you could take time away to maybe see if you can get this cleared up? Maybe, get a plane over there and go get him and make this all kind of go away real quick. I don't even know why this is happening.
That's our show, folks. Yes,
because
Triple H was at the White House today on Thursday, so that is what Dan is referencing right now. Apparently, he's a good friend. He's known him for a long time, but
great athlete.
Great athlete.
Oh, God.
I just read the headline. I was like, yeah, I'm not reading the rest of that article. Fuck that.
No, right. And it's just, wow. It's just, okay.
Listen, maybe he could do that for him. Who knows? He is technically an American citizen now, so maybe there's that added benefit of doing it. We don't know. We don't know if there is a plan in place, if he's on his way back already. We have no idea. We don't know if maybe they'll move this to Sunday in hopes that he'll make it back with the extra day. We just have no idea. I don't really want to pontificate on who they could replace him with. I don't want to do that. There's a lot of
immigration. No,
Claymore to the immigration officer. That'd be hilarious. It's tough, right? Like, I'm sure you could call.
Is just Robert Stack from Airport.
Oh my God,
Claymore. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a situation where it sucks because it's like I hope he's able to make it back for the match. I would much rather him than God knows who they could replace him with.
Oh God, that's the thing. It's like, who are they gonna get that can match douchebaggery? It's like, can you get MJF on loan from AEW? Like, is this how you're gonna be able to pull this off? Because, like, I just,
if this was last year, I would have said Finn Balor.
Yeah,
but now they've kind of made him a joke almost.
Yeah, they've made Judgment Day has gone from like this dark entity run by All Rise to it's
like they've been comedic relief. Don't get me wrong.
Comedy relief now, like,
but even back then they kind of were too. When our
they
truth
were 50-50 at one point. Now it's just full blown.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in. Obviously, I'm trying to think of like who it could be if it's not Drew, and it's just that's the only person that really comes to mind. They're not going to do Solo. Obviously, he has a match on Sunday. That's one that I could maybe say okay. I don't know who else on Raw or SmackDown really could fill that void that doesn't have a match.
I mean, yeah, this is one of those. You could go the cheap route of getting like Grayson Waller or like Austin Theory, but then it's like,
I think Theory is injured.
They're not. Neither one of those guys are ready for that spot either. Like, it's too.
I think you could make an argument for Waller at this point, especially now that he's without Theory. I think Theory is injured. I'm not 100% positive about that. But with Waller, it's like, I don't know what they're trying to do with him at this point, especially now with like being around the New Day and stuff. Like, just pass.
Yeah, I just.
You could take Rusev out on loan. I think that might be an idea.
I was thinking Rusev.
It's not a bad idea.
Rusev. It's not a terrible idea. And plus, I think Rusev can handle the situation too.
100%.
Because the problem is going into this ultimately is you have to have a competent worker because of the fact that Jelly Roll is a celebrity.
100%. I agree.
Mind you, you can do mind you, Randy's going to do a lot of the load carrying. But the problem is that Randy is 45 fucking years old, and he's in a tag team match, and he's got to carry a guy who's now. It's a tough spot to be in. It is so tough for these guys. But like, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like, ugh. But also looking at it from another perspective was Hulk Hogan having to work with Jay Leno at 45 years old, Karl Malone at 45. Like, so it has happened. But at the same time, it's like, do you really want to do this?
No.
Do you really need to do this?
No. Not
You
at all.
don't.
It's the biggest issue for me is I felt like teaming Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre was going to end up with a Claymore to Logan Paul, which was really exciting for me because I would love that. Turn at the end of the match after they lose. Drew hits some of the Claymore, walks out. That's all I wanted.
It's like Drew has become more or less our spirit animal.
He really has.
It's like that's what Drew has become for myself and Mac. It's just like, yeah, Drew just needs to take everyone out with claymores at any cost and just verbally just massacre them. Like the work
Dude, I'm sorry.
He
He grabs a phone at WrestleMania, takes a picture of him and Damian Priest, says, "Bored at work, LOL." I'm sorry. That's just phenomenal.
And the Claymore is such a cool move. You know, because when he first, and it's amazing with the progression with Drew McIntyre with me, because when he was first the chosen one, I couldn't stand him. I'm like, he's lanky, he's unimpressive, he's not confident with himself.
He needed to grow that beard, man. That's what it was.
He really did. And then he also needed to put on like 60 pounds of muscle.
True.
And just come in and just like literally look like he walked off the set of Kicking the Shit Out of the Mountain in Game of Thrones. And you're just like, put the fucking strap on him and put a rocket on him. Just do it right now. Like the second I saw him sitting at NXT in that front row, I was just like, this guy looks money. Like, I am so happy that he's back and he looks. And then the first match back, he was like a squash and he hit him with the Claymore for the first time. And I'm just like, I love this man. Like, it's immediately my reaction of like, just give him the belt, give it to him now. Like, give him a skyrocket him to the moon. Like, that's how I've always felt. And I feel bad that he's getting notoriety for this matchup because he's in there against one of the biggest recording artists in the world. But now I can't even have that. And because of problems with immigration, visa, passport issues, when he's already American citizen on top of it, it's like, why don't you just let him in the goddamn door?
I agree. Yep. I mean, listen, I think for what it is, for a quote-unquote celebrity match, I think this will be decent. Hopefully he's in the match as well, obviously, but we will see. And I think the rest of night one actually is like a million times better after those two matches. The next match I have here is the women's tag team title match. Judgment Days, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez against the Friends of Convenience, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And there goes my machine, because I will never learn.
I mean, people call it the friendship of convenience, but at the same time, we have reached a turning point that I didn't think of 4 months ago we would ever reach. And that is the fact that Charlotte Flair is now likable. What? How did this happen?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say she's likable.
I
would say she's
a lot more likable than she was.
She's more likable. I would maybe say tolerable in some cases.
I
think ever since the interview and then this happened around the same time, definitely helped her. Both those things happening at the same time helped.
Those things help, but also the fact of the article, the interview humanized her. It made me kind of, because it's just the problem with her has always just been like she's always come off to me as kind of like having a giant, like she played the character in real life.
She was a character, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my problem. And the article kind of proved to me maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was just giving her a hard time because, and she's being a woman's talent in this industry is the most, they are in the hardest goddamn spot. It's 100 times worse for them than it is for the men. It just is. Between Twitter bullshit, half the people are giving you shit because of how you look. Half the people are giving you shit because you screwed something up in one match. And then there's the other portion of the unsavory people that are sexually inappropriate and are borderline stalking. To now where some of them have to worry about people breaking into their house, people, it's just awful. It's just awful. And for Charlotte to kind of remind people of what she's got to deal with on a consistent basis, but also not coming off as arrogant, again, coming off as kind of Ashley Flair instead of Charlotte Flair. She came off as Ashley Flair, which I think was important to do for her career. I think she realized maybe it's time I kind of realize that and start to tell people and show a little bit more of me that, yeah, I'm worried about my legacy instead of just shutting this out. She was also in a hard, sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish.
She was also in a hard spot of the fact that of her last name. And one of the greatest wrestlers of all time is your father. So there's that nepotism factor. And I know that's part of it. But the fact is, too, is that I have to go back to 2015 and 2016. And I have to say, she was one of the best in-ring performers on the planet. And she was for many, many years. And she still is at certain points. She's had injuries she's still kind of coming off of. I think the ACL, she's still trying to kind of figure that out. But I think that because now it's like, I'm rooting for her and Alexa. I've always been an Alexa fan regardless. Always have. She's pretty much someone that I'll never fall out of favor with. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like she's in my all-time list. And it's the same thing with Charlotte. Plus, in my opinion, she's not the bitchy one of the four horsewomen. That's other people. But
Boo ran.
This is what I wanted to, because I want them to win the tag titles because, number one, they got to bring stability to the tag titles because that goddamn division has been cursed. Either they're getting rid of the teams or splitting them up prematurely or someone's getting injured while being the tag team champions. So they kind of need to bring some stability to the tag, and they need some name brand value. They need some, and you look at Charlotte, you look at Alexa Bliss, and it's like these are people that are kind of considered legends in WWE the women's division. And both of them having a lengthy tag team title reign and a babyface run, maybe even turning them heel at some point to get another babyface tag team over might work out. But I feel like you need to make the switch here. Because I feel like that people are behind both of them. They're really behind Charlotte. And that was something 4 months ago. I was really concerned. 4 months ago, I was seriously questioning whether Charlotte was going to make it to the end of 2024. Whether she was just going to pack it in or the end of 2025, excuse me. I really thought that this was probably going to be it for her. Just because of, and I was like, where do you go from her here? And now she's marketable again. Now she's bankable again. And you have to go in that direction. I wouldn't delay it. It's in SummerSlam. It's a big stadium show. It's a feel-good moment. Just make the switch. And that's not a negativity on Roxanne or Raquel. I think Roxanne is playing the role of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley extremely well in the Judgment Day of trying to do anything she can to get. She gives them a Nintendo Switch too. It's just like, I see what you're doing here, and I'm going to fall for it again. It's literally Back to the Future 3. That's what I'm seeing with this. It's Back to the Future 3.
It really is.
It's just, they're just changing certain things. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's Back to the Future 3. All right. I am done. You can go on. Sorry that I cut you off.
No. You're good. I thought you were done when I tried to interject before. You kind of made my point for me though about Charlotte. I think she played very, very far into being Rick's daughter instead of being Ashley or even Charlotte Flair. And I think that played a role into how she presented herself as Charlotte Flair, as the character, and less so as Ashley Flair, which, to be fair, we could obviously assume that's going to happen either way, being on television, being the daughter of Ric Flair. And that can't be understated. I think trying to gravitate away from that should have been what should have happened here, or even before she got the ACL injury a couple of years ago. And it's unfortunate that they kind of squashed the experiment. Part of that is because everybody was so used to her being a heel. So when she came back and won the Royal Rumble, that played a role. It's like, oh, well, we used to hate you because you've been a heel for way too long, so we're just going to hate you again. But again, as I said before, having played into this whole role with Alexa, having had that, I'm surprised my machine didn't go off right there. Having, the interview at the same time has helped. I think some of the stuff that she's gone through in her personal life is very unfortunate. To your point about this match specifically, though, I have to agree. I really like what Roxanne has been able to do the last few years, both on the main roster now and in NXT. I think she plays this Liv Morgan / Rhea Ripley, as you mentioned, very, very well. I think it works. I am a little bored with Raquel at this point, though. There's just been really no character development for her at all. I feel like she's just this... I hate to make the comparison here because they're bigger in different ways, but her and Nia Jax, it's like I'm watching the same match every time, I feel like. Nia at least has evolved. Nia has evolved character-wise as well. And speaking of people that are not on this card, by the way, Nia Jax is another one.
Has aura.
Nia does have an aura, you're absolutely right. And I feel like Raquel is 110% lacking of that. And you're sticking her with Roxanne, which, to be fair, that's not a knock on Roxanne. It's just it doesn't help her. It doesn't hurt Raquel, but it doesn't help her either. But you're sticking both of them against two future Hall of Famers. One of them, if not both of them, are on a women's Mount Rushmore. And both need this. Not only for the character development that they're trying to do right now, but they need a win here. Plus, I also feel that if you're not going to separate these women's tag titles, there seems to be no indication that they will again, which is foolish to me, you can at least put Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, I'm trying to say it quietly now if you couldn't tell, you're trying to put them on more shows, and you do that by giving them the tag titles. You put them on Raw, you put them on SmackDown, you put them on NXT to defend those titles, as they should as top women talent. Just, Roxanne Perez is the future of your company in the women's division.
Yes.
You can make the argument that Charlotte might have a couple of years left. Alexa probably, definitely has a few years left, being a little bit younger. There's the machine, finally. You could do something still with these women. Roxanne doesn't need this right now.
No, she doesn't.
Roxanne's going to be a future women's champion at some point. She doesn't need it right now. Have her do the job, and you could have your merry little Judgment Day storyline about them losing the tag titles. It'll be all good. But for the here and the now, put the titles on the end of the women. Sell it, call it a day.
It's not, don't delay it. You know, you
There's
have
no
it
need.
hot. There's no need. And it's not, again, I even though you're 100% spot on about Raquel Rodriguez.
It's hard to disagree, I feel like.
I want to like her.
I do too.
I do.
Dan, I'm in the
like her
same
as a
boat.
talent.
I do
And
too.
it's just, I do. And it's just not there. It's just, there's something not there.
She is the carrying cross of the women's division. I'm sorry.
Pretty much, she is. It's like, yeah, you're tall. You have that. I like your Tahana bomb thing, but that's it. Like, there's nothing else that I look at and I'm like, it's just, Nia's got aura. You don't. And sorry, you know, there's other women that I'd rather. I'm never going to pay money to see Raquel Rodriguez. It's never going to happen. And she'll have a good career, but I just don't think it's.
You know what it is? Like, here's the best way I could say it for Raquel Rodriguez in the ring. I feel like she's clunky.
Yeah.
She just, anytime she's fighting some of these women, she just looks really out of sorts and out of place.
That's
and
true.
I'm not trying to say it as a negative. Like, I 100% get it. Like, you're fighting some women like Kairi Sane, for example, that they fought a couple weeks ago. Kairi Sane is incredibly fast, very limber. Raquel Rodriguez is not, and it shows in those matches. So
She doesn't look like she's comfortable.
that's a good way of saying it too. Sure, but
Like, she doesn't look like she's comfortable with her size. And
I knew what you meant. Don't worry.
You know,
Yeah,
so,
I agree. All right, I think we can move on.
yes.
I don't know what else we could shit talk Raquel Rodriguez about anymore. But the next match, probably, because there's two other matches still in the evening that I feel like are a little bit more important than this one, no offense, is Tiffany Stratton defending against Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill.
Well, I mean, to me, it seems like this is the, so to speak, coronation. This is
I
what
think this can go either way.
it
honestly.
could go either way, but I think with
You could
the
be
Naomi,
right, though.
Then with the Naomi factor out of it, I feel like that this is it's a stadium show. They think the world of Jade. The audience thinks the world of Jade. I think the world of Jade. Tiffany Stratton is going to be world champion again down the line multiple times over. Her career, she's going to be fine. I also think Hollywood's going to come knocking in the next 7 to 8 years. But for the next 5 at least, she's going to be considered one of the top talents, going to be always fighting for the world championship. So she's going to be fine. And she's had a great title run. She's been able to go up against some great talent and has had some great matches. But again, just like the tag team match, don't wait. Just do it. Put the strap on Jade and go with it from there. Just because of the fact that she is a special talent, she is someone that the audience is infatuated with, in love with. I think she's a great talent. I felt like that ever since I saw her in AEW. I was just like, she's in the wrong company. And once again, I don't understand it. It's weird with the women talent because whenever I see some of these rookies, I just look at that and I say, top star. Because of course I watched the Mae Young Classic and I felt like I was the only one that was. And I saw the young Rhea Ripley. I saw the young Bianca Belair. And I was telling everybody, I'm like, these two these two out of the whole tournament. And within 5 years, turned out to be right. And I feel like it's easier for me to do that with women talent than it has been men talent. The men talent, I can see a lot of it. I feel like it's easier for me to see guys that I don't think are going to be anything than guys that actually are top talent sometimes.
I think it's so subjective, honestly. I think part of the problem is the women talent. Holistically, I feel like over the last several years have been better.
Way better.
But there have been guys, especially obviously since that's the route we're taking here with this conversation, that we could look at and say, and there are other guys that have come up and were given something completely different than what they had. And some of them made it work and some of them didn't. And I'm looking at LA Knight getting Max Dupree and just it absolutely sucking. And that's not his fault. That was a shit gimmick. I also look at guys like Gunther, who started out as Walter in NXT UK actually, and he came over as Gunther. Then they gave him Imperium back, and he's done whatever he was doing in NXT. Basically, it's the same character with a different name practically. Doesn't matter. There's guys like KO who have had great careers. Sammy, who has never been a world champion, but he's been a top talent. You know, I look at another guy like Braun Breaker, who has come over and was almost immediately, kind of like Gunther, Intercontinental Champion.
Yep.
You know, I don't like what they're doing with him now, but there eventually will be a payoff to that. I know that, and he's still young. It's just, and the other factor here, especially for the men talent, is the male talent is so top heavy right now.
It is.
It really is, and it's just incredibly hard to turn around and be like,
so is the women's talent too. To be fair,
it is now, yeah. But I think they're able to insert more into that than they normally would have. You know, Stephanie Vicaire has a title shot at the end of the month or next month. I forget which, when the PLE actually is. Julia is the U.S. champion for the women's side, who's not even on this card either, which I think is kind of funny. I would not be surprised if Jordan Grace gets called up by the end of the year. Just, you know, you're right, it is top heavy, but they're still able to, insert them a little bit. For this match, though, I mean, listen, I'm not going to be disappointed whoever wins. I'll say it that way. Should Jade win? Probably. I think probably she would. I think she's gone through enough with Naomi, with last year's Queen of the Ring, I think it was, then obviously winning it this year. I think she deserves it. If they, however, decide to keep it on Tiffany Stratton, I'm not going to be disappointed by that either. I would just kind of question in what fashion she would win, because if she wins, I just, for some reason, I foresee a not clean finish.
I agree.
But
I agree.
We'll have to see. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I would not be upset either, because if Tiffany wins, I'm not going to be upset about that either, because I like Tiffany Stratton. But I just feel like the right decision is just sometimes you just have to, and it's not this, well, you have to sometimes delay anticipation. Fuck that. You're at a stadium show. Especially if you're paying the amount of money you're paying to be at that show, give them what they fucking want. All right? Jesus.
Yeah, but you know what I don't want, Dan?
What?
I don't want Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
No, I don't want that either. Because I'm so tired of this Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker pairing with Paul Heyman and with Seth Rollins. I've been done with it. I've been done with it since probably May, maybe even like June. Or I think even happened in May, because I don't even
remember what happened at this point.
I don't even remember what happened, but it's just like I don't care. Like,
Listen, I'll say it this way, right? I think what happened to Rollins is very unfortunate.
if it happened at all.
Yep, I should have let me finish the sentence, but yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I agree, if it happened at all. Because who knows? Because we still have one more match in the night to talk about for night one. I think that if that is the case, though, it's very unfortunate. But it has not helped either of those three guys, Bronson Reed, Ron Breaker, or Paul Heyman, with him being off TV now. It has not. And inserting Roman Reigns into this now, I understand, and this is why I think it's real, because it is an obvious pivot to get him back, number one, to kind of fill a void here, but also to give him a SummerSlam match. Why the fuck did we have to team him with Jey Uso to do that? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't even know this.
You've done this so many times now. It's so annoying. They're cousins, but they're enemies. They're cousins, but they're enemies. They're cousins, but they're enemies. Oh, they're not enemies now.
They
but they're kind of
main
enemies.
evented 2 years ago. Like, this was they were just fighting each other. They had tribal combat 2 years ago.
Yep.
And they were fighting for the championship. And then it's like, but they mended fences for, but still less than a year ago. But now
you're telling me that he's off, Roman Reigns is off television for what at this point? Almost 5 months?
Pretty much.
Since WrestleMania.
Since 4 months ago. So, yeah.
So, okay, so 4 or 5 months, we'll say. And the first thing he does is come back and attack Rollins' group because of him and Paul Heyman. I understand that 100%. You just had that triple threat at Mania. That's natural progression. Why the fuck is Jay involved?
I don't know.
You could have done anybody.
No, you could have.
You could have done LA Knight, which would have made sense because they've been feuding with LA Knight for weeks.
Yeah.
You could have had Penta, who they've been feuding with for weeks. That would make sense. But no, he's my cousin, so I got to come out. Like, come on, man. It's what's the term again? Lazy booking.
It really is lazy. Like, it's so lazy just looking at all this and just being like, are you guys even trying on this? Like, are you really trying? Because I don't think you are.
Because I'm not booked.
And it's how to get him more over. Oh, we'll have him steal Roman's shoes. Get the fuck out of here. Really? That's how we're trying to sell this match. Bronson Reed steals Roman Reigns' shoes.
I've seen so much shit about that too since it happened.
Well, yeah, because sneaker culture is such a huge thing.
Well, not even that. Like, whoa, you don't know what it's like in the hood if somebody steals your shoes after a fight. It's like, maybe I don't, but why is that relevant? It's a TV show. Like, who cares?
Exactly.
Plus, Bronson Reed's not from the hood. He's from fucking Australia, so that doesn't really work for me, brother. Just saying.
Like,
and listen, I don't know if there's hoods in Australia, but
I don't know either. I mean, I've seen a couple of films that, like, once are warriors, but once were warriors, stuff like that.
Hey,
but
Crocodile Dundee does not count, Dan.
I wasn't. If you saw Once Were Warriors, Once Were Warriors
I haven't seen
in a films class. I had to see that in film class. It is one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, right up there with, like, it's a movie I'll never watch again. It's in that category. Great film.
Geez.
We'll never watch again. It's in that category, which is a very short. There's a decent list of that. Like, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is in that list.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's just great film, really depressing. Like American History X, great film, really depressing.
Yep.
And that's where Once Were Warriors, and it was based out of Australia. So I don't know if Bronson Reed came from that culture. I don't know. Whatever.
Who knows?
But yeah, I just hate this. I hate it. It's dumb. It's a waste of the tribal chief, to be quite honest. It's like, I'm going from one stable feud to another. Fucking great. It's like, why did I even come back for this?
Yeah, and it's a situation too where it's just like you almost wonder if somebody else is going to get involved in this match. I have a feeling somebody will. I just don't even want to think about it right now. But I did not book this as the main event because there is one final match for night one, and that is the World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther versus CM Punk.
What originally should have probably main evented WrestleMania night one.
Yep.
And if you watch that on that Netflix show, it was
Unreal
pretty
or
much
whatever,
confirmed that it was going to be Gunther versus CM Punk because CM Punk was talked about by many creative team members to be winning the Royal Rumble and challenging Gunther. But one asshole decided to sell the idea, yeah, it should be Jey Uso.
Nope.
So they pivoted. And now they decided we're going to go, oh, well, Jey Uso did not work out as champion. I could have told you that. So we're going to go with Gunther and CM Punk, which is what we probably should have done at WrestleMania. Yeah, that's what you probably should have done at WrestleMania. Wouldn't have been a divide. Because if you were giving me John Cena versus Cody Rhodes and John Cena winning the championship, if CM Punk won the title the night at night one, I probably would have thought it was a much better show.
So hold on a second, right? That's an interesting point you made, and I want to clarify that for just a quick second. What would you have rathered? This match, which we're getting at SummerSlam, or the one that we actually got with CM Punk with him and Reigns and Rollins?
Yes.
Think so? Because I thought that match told a great story.
It told a great story, but at the same time,
We walked out with piss of Jey Uso being champion. I get it.
and the Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman has been a disaster. It has not been good.
Yeah,
It has
I'll
not
give you
been
that.
good. And so the finish from that, you have not. So the payoff from that is negated. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I would have rather this at WrestleMania because you didn't have Jey Uso in Gunther, which was, as you said, a plate of piss. And then you wouldn't have had to do a triple threat match that I felt like you were just filling spots on the card for three top talents. Ooh, I gave CM Punk his main event. Yeah, it would have been a hell of a lot better had he won at WrestleMania, walked out with the title night one, and the rest of us are all happy walking out of night one instead of going into night two depressed from the night before and then leaving night two more depressed than we were coming in after night one.
I'll give you that. I think that's fair.
Which is why
I remember
All In
watching
was a
night
better
two.
show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's without question. I feel like I remember watching night two alone because I was still relatively annoyed by night one.
Yeah, I watched night two alone too because I was just like, I watched night one and night two.
Well, you were sick, I think, weren't you?
I was sick that weekend.
Yeah. But
There's been so many of these things too that I lose track now. I'm like, was I sick that weekend? Was that the one I was sick? Yeah, it was the one I was sick.
I just remember because you weren't there. That's the only way I remembered it. But I listen. It's hard to disagree, right? I still think closing night one with Punk, Reigns, and Rollins was not a bad decision. I do agree though that the rest of the card was kind of mid. It wasn't great. Jay winning. We always talk about this, right? Like I didn't hate that Jay won. I hated that he won the way he did.
Oh yeah,
Should not have been a tap out, and it should not have been a tap out as quickly as it happened. That's what pissed me off. And the Raw match where Gunther beat him to gain the title back was far superior than the Mania match. Far superior. So all those things kind of factored in. I have to look at this match with a kind of an optimistic mind. I look at this the same way as I look at Tiffany and Jade. I don't care who wins. Should it be Punk? Probably. I'm not going to hate that. But I just feel like he should beat somebody else for the title. That's
I
all I'll say.
I don't care who wins as long as it's not Seth Rollins. Let me put that out there.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Number one, because I really hate the concept of let's work everybody with an injury angle with a guy who's had injuries to that same extremity, and the fact that we did this angle the same day that Adam Cole may have had to retire due to injury. That's kind of my... And the other factor is I'm sick of Seth Rollins. I'm just tired.
I don't need another 6 months of Punk and Rollins. That's my thing.
I just don't. And I had that argument this week with Booran, because he was just like, I could see Rollins and Punk work all day. I'm like, no, like I don't want to see that happen again. I hate that even being thought of, that should be even talked about. And God, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm just already getting like sickness of another Seth Rollins, CM Punk chasing Seth Rollins for the championship. Fuck that. No, thank you.
The only benefit of putting it on Rollins is he's got a line of people that want to attack him.
Yeah, he does.
And first in line is going to be Punk, and then it's going to be LA Knight, it's going to be Penta, and it's going to be anybody else that group is fucked over.
But then it's like, but then again, and like I said, then here he is. He's going to be champion again. And then what is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? They're J&J security. That's what they're going to become. And then we're going to get, for the next 6 to 9 months, fucking the same finish every week. Oh, Rollins is beat. Oh, here comes J&J security. Spear, tsunami, spear, tsunami, spear, tsunami, spear, tsunami, spear, tsunami. That's what this is going to be for the next 6 to 9 months. Spear, tsunami, spear, tsunami, spear, tsunami.
It's already what it's been.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not. That's already what it's been. It's garbage. I can't stand it. Like, dude, like, you want to give the tsunami to people, I'm fine with it. I really am. When he was not in Seth Rollins' group, he gave Seth, 6 one time? I'm fine with that. But you're going to end up with diminishing returns at some point when you start doing that shit. And that's always been my biggest problem. And you're already approaching that. This match, in terms of Roman and Jay versus those two, it's like, I don't care. Because they're just going to job out. You know that. There's not going to be another guy added. It's just not going to happen. So they're going to job out. It's going to be boring. Nobody wants to see those two job out at this point. But since it's Roman and people love Jay, I still don't understand why they love him as much, but they do. They're going to want them to go over, and that's what's going to happen. With this match, I hope there's no involvement there. The only involvement I want to see at this point is from however many El Grande Americanos there are. Because one of them is Kaiser. Apparently the other one is Pete Dunne. And I don't know who else is coming out as freaking El Grande Americano at this point. But maybe that's who interferes. I don't see a clean finish here. I think Gunther's going to retain. It probably should be Punk, though. Give him one last run. Call it a day.
Let him work matches and defend the title against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Let him go through that, the progression of that. So then it's like you have the young guys working, or the younger talent, excuse me, because I don't know how old Bronson Reed is. I know Braun Breaker's not even in 26, 27.
Oh, look.
So you have these guys now able to work with one of the best ever and be able to get elevated instead of just having to be J&J security. And don't give me this bullshit either of, well, we're trying to put Braun Breaker in the Batista role. Batista had aura. Evolution had aura. This group does not have aura.
Well, hold on. The group does not individually. I thought they did. I thought they both did individually, especially Braun.
Is my mic okay?
Yeah.
It's still okay. Sorry.
By the way, Braun Breaker is 27. Bronson Reed is 36.
Okay. Yeah. So Bronson Reed is not like long for, you know what I meant. You know, like
He's older. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
He still has the ability to be a world champion, but it's like,
yes.
he's not going to have the same longevity as a guy 9 years younger than him in Braun Breaker. I agree.
Right. And that's but again, it's like I look at these guys and I'm just like fucking J&J security. And it's I hate that because it's like Braun Breaker is like I want him to be like a cool heel. And he's not a cool heel.
Hold on a second. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. October. Okay. So my thought process is this. You have him win. You have obviously Cody win on Sunday, which we'll talk about later. And then in October is Crown Jewel.
Yep.
And if they do the Crown Jewel Championship again, it would be those two fighting for it. I don't know if they will because it's in Australia, but they could do that again, which would make sense, and then they could fight for that, which I think would be a great match, honestly.
I think it would too. And I mean, it's a way also for these guys to be able to kind of get the rub from an all-time great. And that's kind of my hope that, number one, I mean, I'm not going to, if Gunther retains, I'm fine with it. If Seth Rollins wins, I'm going to be really pissed off. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process going into this. So I guess we can move on to night 2 of this 2-night extravaganza.
Yep.
Which Triple H called this SummerSlam Disneyland or something. And my comment to this, I'm going to Disneyland with the wifey in October, and between this and the airfare, it was cheaper than what you would have to pay to go to 2 nights at 2 nights at SummerSlam. So for all you bargain hunters out there, going to Disney is cheaper than going to SummerSlam.
Yeah, infinitely cheaper. So we talked about this earlier. We felt that there were 3 weak matches on this card. We're going to start with the third of those 3. Becky Lynch, the Intercontinental Champion, defending against Lyra Valkyria. If Lynch wins, Lyra Valkyria can no longer challenge Becky for the championship as long as she holds it.
Didn't you just do this stipulation like 2 months ago in the same like feud?
Yes, he did. But he didn't do it in a no DQ, no count out, last chance match.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. It's your show.
Lazy booking. It's our show. Lazy booking.
It's more yours than mine. I just do a
lazy booking.
I feel like Bayley's going to turn in this match.
I mean, I want Bayley to do something.
I do
she's
too.
One of the people
I
we were
don't
talking
want her
about
to
the
return,
fact of that she's not on the card.
Yeah. There's a lot of people not on the card. We talked about it.
But Bayley's another one. It's just like, hey guys, why don't you try to do everything you can to keep her in the fucking roster? How about that?
I think she's coming out to turn. She did this 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I think. I think it was 3. When she came out with Damage Control and turned EO and turned Dakota Kai, 2 stars that had really not been on the main roster and that left the company at least once, especially Dakota. She's not on the card this time. She's already kind of had a feud with Becky a little bit, but she's had kind of one with Lyra now too. I really don't want to see her go heel again. It really feels that's the trend they're going towards.
Actually, let me pitch you this.
They
turned Bayley heel, but then they put her and Becky together as a team.
Oh, I 100% think that's what's going to happen, actually.
Which actually I'm okay with.
I'm okay with it in this context of what we discussed earlier for night one, where Charlotte and Alexa Bliss win.
Yes.
Damn it, she still went off. God damn it. Tried to say it like,
No, I was thinking we have like-minded thinking because I'm just like, that would be a perfect feud.
yeah.
Like those, but that would mean that Lyra would have to win. But you could also
not necessarily.
You can make Becky double champ. That's
Yeah, you
true.
can make her double champ again.
Which I honestly think that would be more compelling of Becky Lynch and Bayley working together and being a team going up against Charlotte, and that would be really, really compelling.
There's plenty of female talent that Lyra could team with after the fact.
And two, it takes those four talent out of the championship, like the main titles for a while. And then you can have a lot of these younger talent or talent that is just coming up to fight for that. And then you have the four kind of top veterans kind of fight. Because, you got to look at it now because of some people's self-exile that Alexa Bliss is kind of in the spot of that fourth horsewoman. She's kind of like the unofficial member of the four horsewomen now because
I agree.
she came in around the same time as the other three. And she's also stayed loyal to the company, unlike others that just keeps winning championships for like. I don't understand that concept of I'm just going to go to other like you're just holding hostage these titles. When are you going to lose them?
I don't even think anybody knows, honestly, her included. I want to bring the folks back to Lyra though, real quick.
You looked ridiculous on Monday. That outfit was like, what is this?
Yeah, dude, but I think that she's. I don't want to say she's in the wrong place because I know the connotation of saying that is like sometimes people mistake that as the wrong company. I don't think that's the case. I think she's phenomenal talent. I just think that her promo work kind of stinks sometimes. I think the promo plus whatever jig she did, keeping it with like an Irish term here, was just kind of weird. Really didn't do much. And I think that her stepping out to Becky Lynch, I'm fine with it, but there's so much younger talent or newer talent that have come over since she's been there that are better, yes, that she could probably feud with better. And in saying that, like, I know some of them are not younger, some of them are actually older, but newer talent. Looking at Julia, looking at Stephanie Becerra, you can even make the argument for Jordan Grace, even though she's still in NXT. It's just, she's going to get outshined real fast because that talent is more compelling than she is. And I know that Russo made comments, I think last week or the week before, about Stephanie Becerra and how she shouldn't be on the microphone. I would still rather Stephanie Becerra on the microphone than I would Lyra Valkyria at this point.
That's true. No,
I'd rather Julia on the microphone than I would Lyra Valkyria at this point. I think she's terrible in the ring, but I would still rather Zelina Vega more than I would Lyra Valkyria. It's just, she's not good on the mic, I feel like. And I know there's people that sit there like, oh no, she's passionate about what she's talking about on the mic. And listen, you're entitled to that opinion, and I can see that. I still do not care for her on the microphone. I
agree.
And
it's
they've taken, before you say anything, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Before they turned her into this like vindictive kind of whiner, I feel like, even then she wasn't good on the fucking mic. And now that she lost the title, it's not working. It's not working. Even when she had the title, it wasn't working. I love her in the ring. Honestly, I do. I think she's a great talent in the ring. But she sucks on the mic, and her character work 100% reflects how much she sucks on the mic.
I think my other problem with her is that she is in a position with a lot of talent of no matter what she's going to do with her career, if she's going up against anybody else that I really like, I'm going to want her to lose.
I want her to lose against Chelsea Green if they fight, for Christ's sake.
It's like that's the position she's in. And I don't think she's ever going to get out of it. Like if she's up against Stephanie, sorry. You're up against sorry. You're up against sorry. Like it's just everybody. To me, you're going to be a jobber to the stars, and that's the way I would put you. And sorry, it's just how it is. Like there are far more talented people on the WWE roster than Lyra Valkyria, but they keep putting her in top positions. And
she's a solid worker, Dan. I have to say it. She is.
She is, but there are other people on the roster that are solid workers and also great characters. There are also people that are not as solid workers, but are far better characters and can cut far better promos than Lyra Valkyria. So, yeah, is her work great? I would give it a B. Fine. Solid B, maybe even an A sometimes. But everything else is a D.
I look at the match that she had against Bayley, the 2 out of 3 falls to determine who was in this match. And it was a phenomenal match.
It really was a masterpiece, but
I look at it from this perspective. First of all, Bayley should have won.
Yes.
Second of all, Bayley can actually talk on a microphone.
You just proved the point of what I just said. If she goes up against anybody I like, I want her to lose.
No, dude, I said it already. I said that even if she was facing Chelsea Green, I would want her to lose to Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is not the worker that you would put in a match like this, obviously, but her character work is, I feel like, second to none these days.
We're also Chelsea Green marks. So.
And we are Chelsea Green marks, yes. That was the next comment, actually. You look at Chelsea in the ring, and it's just like, okay, yeah, you know what you're getting out of her. It's not going to be a 5-star match, but it will be serviceable. And Chelsea is always going to make somebody look good. She did it with Nikki Bella, for Christ's sake. She did it twice. But at the same token, when I look at the rest of the talent, kind of like you mentioned, there's not many people that I want to put Lyra over on. Even looking at Piper Niven, even looking at Alba Fire, even looking at the women that you had mentioned, even looking at Nikki Bella, which for me is a cardinal sin to want to put Nikki over anybody. I would still put her over on Lyra.
I feel like now, I feel like my hate for Nikki Bella is just dissipating as time goes on for some reason. Like it was.
I know why. I'm just not going to say it on this recording.
For some reason, it's just, I can't put my finger on it. There's something about her. I'm just like, you're not as bad as I always thought. You know what? I think my perspective has changed.
There are so many comments I could make right now. I'm just going to keep.
Look, hey, I'm not going to become like, I'm not going to buy a T-shirt of her, but at the same time,
no,
I don't hate her as much. Like, you know what? And the fact is, I'm not ashamed of it, folks. Nikki Bella's all right with me. I'm fine with her. But you're right. If she's up against Lyra Valkyria, I want Nikki Bella to win. Come on, we just gotta admit that it's like we have to just be right with ourselves here and just admit to the public that we like Nikki Bella. Like, and that we might not like her work, but we like her. And that's all that matters. I mean, what the fuck is that? Exactly.
All right. I don't think there's anything else to say about that match. The next match is the...
Take a look, but you can't touch.
Yeah, that's why I tried to move on. Thanks for that.
But
the next match is the 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I'm going to try to speed through all of these names. The champions, the Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy versus Andrade and Rey Fenix versus DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. versus Fraxium, Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus MCMG, Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, and the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford.
How much do you want to bet that they're going to show like the Dudleys and Matt and Jeff Hardy in the crowd for this?
I am not going to bet that because you're more than likely right. That's
because
going to happen.
It is
This match should have
25th
happened at WrestleMania, Dan.
This should have happened at WrestleMania, but if we go back to the historical significance of things, which people, that's why I'm considered a professor of this industry. 25 years ago at WrestleMania 2000, it was the triple threat tag team match, the ladder match between the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys. But if you remember, there was a rematch at SummerSlam that year, and that was TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. And that is now happened 25 years ago at SummerSlam. That's right, buddy. We're old. Happened 25 years ago, the 25th anniversary of the original the tables, ladders, and chairs tag team match concept. This is obviously double the fun of that match because it's a 6-pack instead of a triple threat.
Right.
But this is going to be able to pay homage to these guys, and considering the workers that are involved in this contest and the Motor City Machine Guns, the fact that these guys are one of the most decorated tag teams in professional wrestling history. They did not make WrestleMania this year. This is kind of their make good. So this match is going to be phenomenal. I understand they just put the Wyatt Six over, but as a wrestling fan for as long as I have been, and also someone that can respect the greatness of great tag teams, if you do not give this to Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, it is a great disservice, because these guys deserve this to win this because of the legacy that these guys have had, not only in general, but as one of the best tag teams of an entire generation. The last 15 years, they have been the tag team. One of the most consistent tag teams in independent wrestling. They finally made it to this company. You put the straps on them, but it has been a great disservice, the fact that they were not at WrestleMania. Now, they are at SummerSlam in a TLC match, but they need to go over. They need that moment. They need that SummerSlam moment, that kind of stadium show moment, because this is the biggest audience that they've ever probably been in front of. Also, they're getting a little long on the tooth. That's not knocking them. It's just how it is.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I feel like if it's not now or never, they may never get a chance to kind of get a great moment like in front of the stadium of winning the titles, and they deserve it. So I feel like giving it to Sabin and Shelley is the safe bet. Am I going to be happy with whoever wins this match? Yeah, because I look at it, it's going to be a fun match. There's going to be things of this I'm just going to be like, holy shit. But I'm rooting for Motor City.
I'm in the same boat as you. I feel like MCMG probably should win this match. I'm also in the same boat as you of thinking that I don't care at the end, because it's probably going to be a sick match to watch. I think all 6 of these teams have a phenomenal moveset, number one, but also when you factor in that it's a TLC match as well, I think it's going to be a really fun watch. It's going to be a watch that a lot of people don't see a lot of on a regular basis, obviously. And I look at some of the stuff that I've seen over the years, like when Tez was in Elimination Chamber, how he jumped off the top of the Elimination Chamber onto everybody else. I look at stuff like that. I look at some of the stuff that they can do in other TLC matches, not just with these guys, but over the past, as you kind of mentioned before, with the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian as well. It's going to be a fun watch. Personally, I think MCMG should win. I probably wouldn't be too disappointed with whoever wins, though. I think it would be kind of weird to have Fraxium win. It'd be kind of okay, but still weird to have Andrade and Rey Fenix win. I really don't want, I guess, the Wyatt Six to win. I know, and you said it as well, that, they just won, but what they're doing isn't really working, I feel like, with them.
It just isn't.
And it's, if you're going to have a Wyatt Six or anything in the similar vein of the Wyatt Six, they should be doing more. And I think the tag team division was an okay start, but that tag team division on SmackDown was already stacked.
Right.
You already had 3 solid teams. Then you introduce Fraxium. Then you introduce the Wyatts. And then now, randomly, you stick Andrade and Rey Fenix together, which has worked. It's a fun tag team to watch, but it's just... You're stacking it out even more. What's the payoff?
Right.
If this is the payoff, where do you then go from here if you keep them as your tag champions? They have to lose. Like, I hate to kind of say it that way, but it's the truth. They have to lose this match.
I agree. No, they do. It's just it's not working. It's just not. I know everybody thinks, oh God, no, it's not. Like, I understand you want to try and carry on people's legacy and you're really trying to give it a go. It's just, a lot of his stuff was good on paper, good start, good execution to kind of get it going. And then it's just continuing on. It's just,
So here's the thing, right? So
you don't know where to go.
Let me be clear about this. There are ways you can go, but this ain't it.
No.
You need to, and I hate to make this comparison because they're so dissimilar, but it is the perfect one to make. You have to look at what you're doing with the Judgment Day and apply it here.
Yes.
You don't need just the tag titles. You need all of the titles for this to work.
Yes.
You need them to have the tag titles. You need Nikki to start actually getting involved in the women's division. Because right now she's not. She's not doing anything really except crawling around in the mats. You need Rowan to do something. Whether that's being in a tag team instead, whether that's going after a mid-card title. It doesn't matter. Like, do something else. Like, you're not using him either. And listen, that doesn't necessarily mean that Boathouse has to go after a world title, especially right now, because him against Cena makes no sense. But have him fight for a title too, whether that's a mid-card or something else. Just staying in the tag team division doesn't make sense for that group.
Or Freebird rule it where you can have different guys be in, like, and stand in the tag team or something.
Yeah, that too.
Just do something to kind of make it kind of unique or try to dominate instead of just like, oh, we're the tag team champions randomly. It's like, do you know how stacked the tag team division is right now? And they have a stacked tag team division right now, and they added in 2 tag teams that are not regular tag teams into this matchup.
Well, Fraxium is a regular tag team.
Well, okay, one regular tag team, excuse me, on paper with Rey Fenix and Andrade.
Right, yeah.
Like, but the rest of it's like, okay, so you could have just made it 5 teams instead of 6.
Yep.
But whatever, you know.
Yep. All right. I think we should move on, though. The next match, because I feel like everything else after this is a championship match, looks like. Next match is the Intercontinental Championship match. Dirty Dom Mysterio versus AJ Styles.
I want AJ to win here, but I wouldn't hate it if Dominic wins. And I feel like AJ winning.
I want AJ to
Kinda
win by
makes sense.
DQ, and I want Dom to retain because of that.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's fine. And then eventually AJ wins the title
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dominic winning like by, or even winning like really cheaply, or him coming out with like a doctor or something, just something kind of comedy related to kind of see if he can get out of this thing at the last second. But if AJ wins clean, I'm fine with it. But also too, if Dominic wins by some kind of chicanery or loses by DQ, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the other match with Roxanne and Raquel was the night before, so who knows? Maybe they get involved.
That's true.
You know,
or Liv Morgan comes back and fucks him over.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I was thinking that too. And I mean, the other thing is,
The problem is they're at MetLife and she's from there, so it's
from
like
Jersey. Yeah, I know.
her coming out and making her presence known.
I feel
and
like
then
if she's
just-
going to come out, it's going to be the first night in the tag match, though.
you never know.
You're right, but
She comes out and helps AJ, like that, like just her like making an appearance, big pop, distracts Dominic, and then all of a sudden AJ falling with forearm. 1, 2, 3. Everybody's happy.
yeah, trust me, I thought of that too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I would kind of like to see Dom retain. I think him as IC champion has just been hilarious, honestly. And he's over. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he's over.
Kid's gonna be world champion someday. I don't mind saying it
Let's
either.
not get ahead of ourselves here, buddy.
It's probably gonna happen.
It might. It'd be some fluke, but it might.
And I'm fine with it.
Listen, if AJ wins too, I'm not going to be disappointed.
No,
I actually think this will be a fun match to watch, not for nothing.
exactly. So
But the next match is a steel cage match for the United States Championship. Solo Sikoa defends against Jacob Fatu.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
is it gonna be able to keep the interference at bay? Is the question. Probably.
To a
Jacob
point.
Fatu. I wonder if Jacob Fatu is going to do something extremely violent that causes the cage to break, where Solo Sikoa retains, but barely. That's what I'm envisioning here, where Solo is just getting beaten the shit out of. There's no possible way he can win, but then all of a sudden some fluke breaks happens. He falls out and retains the title. That's how I see this going.
I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too, but that's what I'm envisioning here.
I feel like he should retain.
Yes.
I hate to say that, but I feel like he should. Because I feel like there are bigger and better things for Jacob.
Yes, I do too. I feel like that Solo as U.S. champion is kind of where hate to say this, that's his ceiling.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
No, I got it. I think it's ironic we're saying that about a steel cage match, though. But
Yeah.
that being said, Jacob has a much higher ceiling than Solo does, and you and I have talked about this. We knew that from the get-go. We both did, and I do think that Solo should retain. And I know there's people that are going to sit there and be like, "What are you talking about? You just said you wanted, Jacob to be over." Yeah, I want him to be over as something other than a mid-card champion.
I don't want him to fight the U.S. title. He's not a U.S. champion, in my opinion. He's a world champion. So, and I feel like having him lose but still look extremely strong is the best way to get out of this.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, listen, you could You could even make him
You
look
won the
weak in a
battle, but I
beatdown.
won the war, you know?
Listen, you can even have him look weak in a beatdown. I don't know when. I believe it's Tamatonga who's still out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know when he's coming back. You can have him come back with Tala Tonga and Tonga Loa and approach it that way, and they beat the crap out of him. Jimmy will probably come out, and Solo's going to climb over probably. And at the end of the day, if that's how they book it, I don't care.
Right.
Just get him out of the mid card.
Right.
He deserves to be in the main event.
Exactly.
Just let's do it. Book
No,
it.
I agree.
Book it.
That works for me, brother.
Yeah, brother. All right. The next match that I have booked here is the triple threat for the Women's World Championship. Naomi defends against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Jesus, we just did this, didn't we?
Yeah, didn't we do this already? I believe that line.
Oh, Bianca Belair was in this. Oh, right.
Oh, man,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so we're running it back, except for the different third party. Okay, great. Gotcha. Got you. Okay. Why are we doing this again? Like,
I'm gonna say it this way. I think Naomi needs to win.
yes, of course she needs to win.
And her winning makes it much more compelling for Stephanie Vicaire versus Naomi at the end of the month for Clash in Paris.
Exactly, because then it's just you need Naomi in that spot to be able to get her more over.
Yeah, that's my point.
And
100%.
plus, it doesn't work putting Rhea up against Stephanie yet. And
You already did Io versus Stephanie on TV.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, what makes logical sense to get Stephanie over as like a top star? Putting her up against Naomi. So
Yep.
good on them for at least booking this match on the card, even though I'm not exactly a fan of the fact of it's just you're just running it back, except Bianca Belair is substituted with Naomi. And
I hate to say this though. I think it's going to be better.
probably will.
I
Probably
just,
will.
I think Naomi has a much different moveset, a much different style that I feel will mesh, especially with Io. But I think it will also benefit Rhea too.
I agree.
I think listen, Io versus Rhea was a great match at Evolution. So I am supreme, and I guess Naomi too, if you think about it. She cashed in the same night.
True.
But I mean, I think this has potential to steal the show, at least for a night too, because I'm not confident in the main event.
Well, here's my wrap up with this. This I feel like has, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Bianca Belair because I thought that match was fantastic
I agree.
at Mania.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it was 5 stars rated by Meltzer. Not that fucking matters, but still at the same time, it is.
It might.
It
I
is,
don't know. It might
it
be
is. But in this match, I feel like is just more compelling, just because of the Naomi character. I kind of want to see where they go with her,
Same.
and so that's kind of where I'm like, I just put the belt on her, keep it on her, and somehow book yourself it. And it's like Io, I don't want her to be like the sacrificial lamb of that's why I feel like they're doing this. It's like, well, Rhea can't lose yet. It's like, okay, fine. So then why are you putting Naomi versus Io like Rhea?
But if that's the case, then I mean, Io could hit a move on her, and then Naomi throws her out of the ring and pins Rhea.
That's true. You can't do that. You could, which I hope they do because it's
then
like,
nobody looks weak.
I don't like Io losing. I don't like it. I'm tired of her getting pinned. It's
I mean,
like she shouldn't be getting pinned.
You could do the same thing vice versa with Rhea hits Riptide on Io, it's about to pin her, then Naomi throws her out of the ring instead.
That's true.
I don't feel that at that point it's really sufficient to say that Io ate the pin. I mean, yeah, I get it, but you know, she ate a move from Rhea, then Naomi pinned her. I mean, it's not
This-
a big deal.
This has a chance to be better than the main event, but I do feel like the main event is going to be better than what we got at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be significantly better than what we got at WrestleMania because I think both guys have heard the criticisms, and maybe Cena will show up for this. Who knows?
I mean, listen, it's Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Undisputed Championship in a street fight. I think it's incredibly hard for either of them, especially John Cena, to fuck up a street fight. I just hate that the premier title of the company is being decided in a street fight. That's my.
I mean, I think that you wonder if this is going to be a double turn moment.
I think one of them is turning, and I think there is going to be heavy interference.
Like, you wonder if this is going to be the night, which the question is it the time to turn Cody Rhodes heel? In my opinion, no.
No, it's not.
There's too much meat
Not
on
against
the bones.
not against John Cena either.
Not against Cena. And the fact is, too, it's just not needed. He's not. There's no drop off in popularity. This isn't something where it's just like, okay, we need to kind of twist again. No, it's not necessary. It's not needed. Cody does not need to turn heel. But I feel like that's, and this might not even be happening. This might not even be what is the direction that's kind of being pulled or anything like that. This is what's just being speculated online.
Right.
And maybe Cody beats him and then Cena has that come to Jesus moment at the end of it where he finally turns babyface or something. Like, there's a lot of ways it can get out of this. I think turning Cody heel would be a mistake.
Because it is.
Because it's just an awful decision if they do that now. And I understand, though, their direction if they want to, and I expect Cena to somehow turn babyface. Like, I expect him to somehow end the last 4 months of his career as a babyface and not being a heel.
I think that he probably will. I just don't think it's going to happen at SummerSlam. I think it'll probably happen after, right? Whether that's, X amount of time later or whatever else, we have no idea. I don't even, he used to do the countdown for how many dates he had left, which they kind of stopped doing after a couple weeks. Thank God. But if he only has just throwing it out there like 10 dates left, those 10 dates are probably going to be as a face.
Yeah.
This was your once in a lifetime to see John Cena actually be a heel again, because really he was when he first came over, but he wasn't really the John Cena that we've come to know at this point.
Right.
He was the doctor of thugonomics, which, he was over as a heel because it was funny. It was something different. With this, it's obviously been far different than the doctor of thugonomics.
Been awful.
It really has. And other people that have enjoyed it, I haven't. Sorry, not sorry. But at the end of the day, I think it was, like I said, it was that once in a lifetime kind of run. You gave him a world title run again as well. And that was able to kind of work. It didn't work for everybody, of course, as I just said, but it did for some people, and some people did enjoy it. Good for you. Good for them. I didn't. I'm ready for the ride and the experiment to be over. I'm ready for him to be a face again. I'm still not going to like him personally, but that's just me. And give him, whether it's 10 or 15 or however many dates, as the true last nostalgia run as a face. because that's what people are going to want. And I understand that people are going to want that to be a championship run as well. I'm just going to sit here and tell you transparently, that's not going to happen. Because he's only got 10, 15 or so dates left, supposedly, that he's going to be on television. It's going to be as a face. And who knows, maybe he'll get back with Nikki Bella in the process since they're both in the company again. Oh, wait, he's married. Never mind. Sorry, Nikki. I'm ready for it to be over. I've watched, you know, you and I have discussed this, and I might as well say it here too. I started watching again in what, 2021, 2022? During the Roman reign, ironically.
Yes.
That worked because it was the tribal chief. Cody came back immediately in the hunt after his feud with Seth Rollins, had the feud with Brock Lesnar, became champion. I'm going to make the argument here that was not a great championship run. It wasn't. That wasn't his fault, though. They had a severe lack of heels without Roman Reigns, especially. And it didn't work. That's not his fault. What's working now? You can make the argument it's not Cena's fault either, but he could have said no to a heel run. He could have said no.
He could have also made changes to the character. That would have.
Yeah, well,
like,
we all know that's not going to happen either.
No, it's just you could have done a different song for a little bit. You could have changed your cheat t-shirt style a little bit. You could have made it like put a little fucking effort into this thing instead of the concept, I'm going to ruin wrestling for people. That's not, that shouldn't be your tagline for a outcome of what your feud wants to be. That's dumb. That's incredibly stupid to your product because that's telling someone, hey, you can check out now for the next 6 months because you're going to hate it.
So, I mean, that was, you say that, and I want to go back, I think it was 2 weeks ago now at this point, where he's saying that he's not going to be at SummerSlam because he's too exhausted. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, dude, come on. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, you kind of expected a little bit to have that whole thing, but the fact that he was like so apologetic about it at the same time, I'm like, dude, you're not selling this at all.
No.
Like, it's just awful. And I really am curious, since this is booked as a street fight, how far this will go. Because I don't think he's going to cut. I'm in Hollywood, I can't cut. Cody might, yeah, but I don't think Cena will.
But Cody also might not because he's going to be doing a movie soon too. So
supposedly, yeah, supposedly. It's just a weird situation to be in 2025 when you have a guy who is really just a part-timer who you just had a 4-year reign that turned into a part-time reign, and a guy who's now in Hollywood who is well past his prime that really doesn't want to take a lot of risks, and you're booking him in the main event of one of your big four after having him in the main event of the big four in the calendar year, if you think about it.
It was terrible.
All of them were terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want this. I didn't want the title reign. I understood it was probably going to happen as much as I hated it, and it has. And it has been as much as I've hated it. It's been exactly that. And now we're getting a street fight at SummerSlam for a guy that, again, is probably not going to take a lot of risks, but you have him booked in a street fight. It just, but why?
Exactly.
But why?
But why?
And
that's all I'm getting from this.
My biggest fear, Dan, is that there's going to be a run-in and he retains.
Yeah, that's my fear too. Because I don't want this to go on.
And I hope it's not a 6-minute run-in from Travis Scott, just saying.
Well, apparently that
It's not going to be him. I know.
Thank fucking God.
Yeah. Couldn't take it seriously.
Which makes
you
their
think?
which makes their decision to even do that even worse. Like that. It just makes that decision even worse in retrospect. You got to put the belt back on Cody. This is for a short time thing. You know, when they did it with Hogan in 2002, it was for a month. That was it. It was like they put the belt on him. A month later, he drops it. You know, because they knew it was a nostalgia run. It was, all right, do some house shows, do some, yeah, all right, the quick little, all right, back to normal. And
I just, you know what though, man? Like, with the Hogan thing, I just, you're right. Number one, it was only for a month, obviously. Like, that's correct. But it's just like, you could do so much with that because Hogan would change his character. Hogan would, transition in and out at times of Hollywood Hogan or Hulk Hogan or Mr. America or whatever the fuck it was at the time. But, like, Cena doesn't do any of that.
you know what's
You said
funny?
it best. It's the same music. It's the same gimmick. It's the same character.
Hulk Hogan, I think when Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan and John Cena were the same age that they are, I think now, and Hogan was the age. Hogan, I think, was the age that Cena is now for his 02 run. In his 02 run, the matches were better, and it was just better overall than what this run has been. I think it did better business, and people cared a lot more than what this run has done. Like, because again, I think you're dealing.
Also was out of Hollywood by that point.
He was out of Hollywood, but also at the same time, he won Match of the Year in 2002 against him and Rock. Like, Cena,
As he should, though.
as he should have, yes. But and he's the same age as Cena, and you think Cena would have been able to. And it's not just the Hollywood thing, because it's not like he took a lot of risks with his style, anyways.
No, it's first of all, it's his style, which is not good in the first place, but it's also ring rust. He was not ready for that main event. He was barely ready for Elimination Chamber or for Royal Rumble. But those matches, you distract yourself a little bit because in the Rumble there's 30 other guys, even if he did come out near the end. In Elimination Chamber, I believe he came out last in Chamber.
I believe he did, yes.
And he really didn't have to do much except for really interact with a little bit of Rollins, a little bit of, I think it was LA Knight.
Yes.
And then obviously CM Punk.
Yes.
Yes, he had the matches previously when he was tagging with, I just said it, LA Knight. Yes, he had the match the year prior with Austin Theory. Great. He's still not doing a lot in those matches.
No.
And then to go from all of that, and obviously the matches I just mentioned with the Rumble and Elimination Chamber, into his main event with, Cody Rhodes, it's like, what? Why? Why is this your main event? And it sucks because some of the matches he's had after have not been 5-star matches, but they've been better.
Better than what WrestleMania has given.
Dude, he had 2 matches with R-Truth that were short but better.
Yes.
I remember one was on Saturday Night Main Event. It was a 5-minute match, less than 5 minutes, and it was still better than whatever 20-minute match he had with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
Yes.
The CM Punk match was not bad.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't bad. It was a good match. The Randy Orton match was great.
That was good too. Yeah.
He's had some great matches.
I don't want to say great, but in the past he's had great.
He's had good
serviceable
matches.
good matches. Yes.
He's had good matches. Excuse me. I expect this to be better. I don't know why. I think that the massive problem with that match is that Cena wasn't ready. I think for the moment, so to speak, as far as cardiovascular conditioning wise, and just all that. And then 2, the Travis Scott finish. Travis Scott completely botched the whole fucking thing. But also, too, that's not just Travis Scott's fault. That's also creative's fault.
Well,
And
it's the company's fault, yeah.
this match, I feel like, should give us the outcome that should have happened at WrestleMania. Should there have been a title reign for John Cena? Yes. It should not have been at the expense of Cody Rhodes, however. And hopefully you can be able to realize we need to be able to get Cody back on track. So we need to go that. And turning him heel is not the answer. That needs to be stated now. That is not the answer to get Cody kind of back on track because he's still a beloved babyface. Don't look at WrestleMania, the crowd reaction that he got, and say, oh, they're turning on him. No, it's because they're cheering for Cena because they're all gaga over him because nostalgia.
If you were going to book this 2 years ago, they should have done it the same way they did Cody, right? Have him lose the first year, have him win the second year. That's what they should have done with Cena. And I get it, tours and movie schedules and all this other stuff. And it's not exactly the most feasible thing to do, but it would have worked better. You also could have kept him as a face and have him face Gunther. You could still have face versus face for Cody Rhodes against CM Punk. That would have worked arguably a million times better. I wouldn't have liked it. I still would have wanted Gunther to go over in that situation if the rules were reversed into what I just said. But I would have rather that than sacrificing your quote-unquote QB1, your quote-unquote biggest talent, to John Cena, who you only turned heel a month ago because it made more sense than turning Cody heel, which is what The Rock wanted, ironically enough. The Travis Scott thing didn't work. Also, regardless of his, desire to do what was needed, I guess is probably the best way to say that. His run-in was like a 6-minute walk down the ramp. It killed the momentum it killed what little momentum the match actually had. And it was more of a distraction than a run-in, I felt like. And then John Cena keeps winning by kicking people in the balls and hitting them with the belt since WrestleMania. It's not working.
It has been a short-term plan to sacrifice the long-term goals. And it's killed the momentum of a lot of things. You think about WrestleMania 40, and everybody talks about and says it's one of the greatest finishes to the event ever. And then you look at this year, and we're talking people, including myself, thinking that WrestleMania 9 was a better finish than this year. And
That's rough.
but it's true.
I didn't disagree. I didn't disagree. I just said it was rough. It's hard to argue. It really is.
It's not a good feeling that I got out of WrestleMania this year. It made me not want to watch the product for a little while. It was just like, I don't want to, because I didn't like John Cena. I've made that well known to people. And the last thing I wanted was to sacrifice somebody that finally I got behind. Somebody that's like a top babyface that I'm behind, that the company has selected. It's like, I want him to have a meaningful title reign. I want him to be successful. And we're going to put the belt on Cena because it's his retirement tour. And he needs a 17th title. No, he doesn't.
If that was the case, it should have been Gunther. And I hate to say that because
I agree.
I'm Gunther Mark too. I like Cody. I like Gunther too. But it should have been Gunther. You did not need to turn John Cena heel for his final run when everybody remembers him, especially those a little bit younger than you and I, as a beloved babyface.
Yes.
I don't like him either. I've definitely made that clear that I stopped watching wrestling for a number of years because of John Cena being the top guy. I didn't like it. I never did. Ever since they changed him from the Doctor of Thugonomics and they shoved him down your throat when he became the Marine, quote unquote, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
In 2005, we had to make a choice as wrestling fans on who we wanted to support to kind of lead the new kind of era and generation. I selected Batista because Batista, again, had aura and also is a much better performer in the ring than Cena is. And also, in my opinion, a much better actor. He has proven that throughout his acting career with some of the things he has done. And he is also more selective in his work, and is willing to work with top directors instead of just working these cash cow movies that mean nothing, where you have Batista making. Well, I was just talking about it today with somebody at work. I'm like, because Batista's theme song came on, and I was just like, man, I wish he never left, because I would have loved it if he had the Cena run. Like if he was around for that long. Mind you, he had like 5 or 10 years on Cena anyways, age-wise. But still, I wanted him to have a much longer run than what I dealt with Cena, because Batista was just better. And that's kind of the problem. It's like everybody that I liked, excluding Hogan, because Hogan had the long run. Brett didn't have really that much long of a run in retrospect. Neither did Shawn Michaels. Austin didn't really have a long run. Rock really had a very short run. But Cena just had this run that it was the song that never fucking ended. And it just kept going and going and going. And so many of my friends, including the co-hosts of this program, left. I used to have a bunch of people come to my WrestleMania parties. And then the Cena era happened, and then less and less people started coming.
But let me put this into perspective here just very quickly. We all like to make comparisons sometimes, and I'll make one just very quickly for you. I would have rather Spike Dudley as world champion than fucking John Cena. I'd rather Spike Dudley than John Cena. I'd rather the Hurricane than John Cena. I would rather a lot of guys than John Cena.
I do like the fact now that and Vince McMahon even said it in his post when he was eulogizing Hulk Hogan and saying that Hulk Hogan was the greatest superstar in the history of the company, which is true.
Oh, you mean Crash McMahon?
Yeah. It's so funny the fact that I was still having kind of because Steph takes the merit, obviously, to go back to
I do whenever I go down there for work or anything like that. I take the merit too. I get it.
You take the merit. I was visual. I just started laughing internally. The thought of Vince McMahon hitting your car or Stephanie's car, and then Stephanie having to deal with Vince McMahon.
I would have I wouldn't have dealt with him. I would have looked in the rearview mirror, seen it was him, and immediately clutched my neck. That is how I would have dealt with Vince McMahon. I believe it was Anthony Cumia who said you got to play the odds and the percentage and wait till idiot hits.
Exactly.
And Vince McMahon would have been the idiot in that situation.
If I was in the car with you or her, I would have been calling. I would have gotten John Heyman on the phone immediately. I would have been like, John, I just got hit by Vince McMahon's Bentley. I'll be right there.
For those that have no idea what we're talking about, it was reported in the news the other day that Vince McMahon had a major car accident on Merritt Parkway in, I believe it's in southern Connecticut, depending on where he was, might be
It
middle.
was in Stamford.
It was in Stamford, so southern Connecticut.
It was, yes.
So he allegedly hit one car, and apparently debris from both of their cars hit another car, I believe on the opposite side of the Merritt. It might have been next to them, I don't know. And
That car is fucked, by the way.
yeah,
that Bentley.
the Bentley I saw. I didn't see the woman's. I didn't read the post, but the woman he hit also had very, very bad damage to the point of totaling her car. So apparently, from what the police officer told this woman, and again, this is all speculation, allegedly. We don't know. We weren't there. This is what the woman who was hit was saying on social media, though. But apparently, the police officer told her that if he hit her anywhere else, she probably wouldn't be alive.
Probably.
Apparently, he also told her that Vince was probably going in excess of 80 miles an hour. For those that don't know, the Merritt Parkway is a very narrow two-lane highway, Route 15 in Connecticut, that turns into Hutchinson River Parkway in New York, actually. And it is not really a highway you want to go speeding down. Just
Can't go 80 or
saying
90
that.
on the Merritt. Can't do it.
You can if it's empty. If it's not, which in
Yeah,
this case it clearly wasn't, you definitely shouldn't.
3 or 4 in the morning, yeah, you can go 80 or 90.
Yeah.
But you can't, not in the middle of the day, because
No. It passes
Apparently-
Stamford, it passes Norwalk, Bridgeport, a lot of major cities in Connecticut, southern Connecticut, this goes through.
yes, it's a massive, massive highway, especially people too, because
I don't want to say,
joke-
hold on. I don't want to say it's a massive highway, but all of those are on Route I-95, all those cities that I just mentioned. The Merritt is one of those roads where if you want to avoid I-95, this is where people go. So it
What
does
I mean-
get busy.
what I mean is that it's the Merritt is massive in the sense of we all make the joke. What's Connecticut? The highway between Boston and New York.
Yeah.
And that is a insider term with the Merritt. There's a lot of people that take it that, again, as Mac had mentioned, that do not want to take 95. That their alternate is to go the Merritt. So, and that's so it is a busy area, and for Vince McMahon to be going 80 or 90,
At his age, too.
oh God,
At his
He's
age.
just- he's again, you wonder how he outlived Hulk Hogan. It's still like a wonder to me. But then again, it's just like, again, it's Mr. Burns. It's just like he's somehow just finding a way to live at the end of the day. Pretty much.
Hey, I mean, you said Mr. Burns. I had to play something.
Exactly. Yeah, it's apparently she was making the accusation that it was after or preceded or was before
I think it was around the,
the
same
news came
time, she
out
said.
or it came out. So maybe he got the news and then I don't know. I don't know if that was a contributing factor to the accident.
Who knows? Yeah.
They did have a weird relationship but who knows? Vince, it may have hit Vince in the end of his even impending mortality. Who knows?
Could be.
But it was just a really kind of weird story to come out this week because
Yeah.
other than the SummerSlam buildup and the Vince story, a lot of it has still been kind of the Hulk Hogan post mortem type situation, which it came out today that he was battling leukemia. He did not disclose it. That was not public. That was which I was rather kind of shocked about because that was the heart attack thing. It was like, yeah, that could be considered considering what he was kind of dealing with
Right.
physically and plus his past history with certain things, allegedly. But the leukemia thing I was rather shocked about. And there's always some kind of like respect that I give to people that are dealing with that don't make it public. And there, Chadwick Boseman was in the same spot. Norm Macdonald's, where all of a sudden one day it's just like, well, this guy passed away. He had cancer. Nobody knew about it. Really? And that kind of was, and to think that was, and for all the things that you could say negatively, because people could sit there, well, look at his storytelling and all that aspect of it. And he never mentioned it once. Not one time that he was dealing with it. And
I don't know, man. Some people are just private people.
yeah, but you think of the tall tales, I almost played Metallica and things of that nature. You think of Ric Flair with his bouts of melanoma, and then also some of the comments that he made directed towards JR recently with JR's battle with colon cancer, which good for God. That was one of the better parts of All In, by the way, was seeing JR out there.
Yep.
I'm glad to see he's doing well and he's on the mend. Even with his advanced stage, it's really cool hearing JR is still broadcasting. And it's always like a welcome thing for me. You can call it nostalgia, you can call it whatever you want, but he's the Vin Scully of professional wrestling. It's like he's been around forever, yet at the same time, he's like some of his best work, again, because that match has been so played. It's like been in my algorithm now, is that Rock and Hogan match, and just his commentary in that was just fantastic. And you also you just go back and you look at that match, and it's just, because again, it's just, we've just been all, and I'm sure you have too, of just our algorithms have just been full blown Hogan. And
That and The Simpsons.
yeah. And you're just seeing all these clips and you're just realizing, you're just like, shit, like, and he didn't have to do like a moonsault or anything like that. It was just a simple, the Hulk up. Everybody cheered for it. Everybody went for the leg drop, like that they were fine with the leg drop. Nobody complained about it. And it's just like, yeah, we're these two critical pundits that sit there and they're just like, oh, he didn't go through enough tables. Like,
I mean, not for a Hogan match, but I mean, I know what you mean. Like there are some matches that you could sit there and look at them and be like, yeah, I kind of expected a little bit more from that. I expected it to be more gratuitous. I expected this, whatever. But, for his matches, I never really had that expectation. I had the expectation of being entertained, and I always was. As much as I didn't really care for him that much in some cases, I still was entertained by his matches.
did you like the tributes, the videos they did? I kind of, the one on Monday was really, really good.
I like the one on Monday.
Yeah.
I barely remember the one on Friday at this point.
I barely remember
last week's
the one
SmackDown.
on Friday, but I did the one on Friday. The one on Monday was really excellent.
I thought they paired it well with that song. I don't remember the song
They did.
or the name of it, but I thought that was paired very well. My biggest gripe, and I'm going to make this a quick point. I get it. He's the golden goose. He deserves all the accolades and all the time they devoted to him. I was just a little bit disappointed that there was nothing for Ozzy, because
That bothered me too.
he is in their celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. He was obviously a huge, massive fan of WWE and wrestling in general. It would have been nice to at least mention him. And I understand that there was mentions on social media, but it would have been nice to give him something. Even 10 seconds on the screen. It would have been nice. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was done anyways, but go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, I felt like he kind of got shafted, but at the same time, it's, hate to say it is what it is, but it's like you're talking about like and Cody Rhodes said it. He's just like, he's our Babe Ruth. And that's kind of the way I think they looked at it. And
True.
I don't think the Osbournes are really going to take offense to it.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I think they can look at it and they just say, look, it's there. Because Ozzy, and I talked to my dad about it this week because we were talking about the funeral that happened, which that he got a send off probably as the only thing I've seen as large as that is kind of like when Princess Diana passed away in England.
Yeah.
He kind of got like the state's funeral, which he should have. And my dad and I were talking about this week, and I just said he was as big as Elvis, and he agreed.
I would say so.
Yeah, he was as big as Elvis, if not bigger. And it's not just the rock and like just for hard rock and metal. It's just in general. That man was absolutely beloved, and is it's not because the Hogan thing. He had his detractors, and well, he should have.
I think Ozzy did too, but definitely not in the same vein as Hogan
Not in the
did.
same vein. And plus, too, we talked about how he started his career, how everybody was just like afraid of him, and then like Hogan, everybody loved him, and then towards the end, everybody looked at Ozzy as like his grandfatherly figure, and then they looked at Hogan as some pariah. So which was all self-inflicted.
Well, I think through his actions and words, I think it was warranted as well.
Exactly. And
plus, it didn't help that one of his last appearances, he's going out to hawk his beer on the new Netflix edition of Raw. So, yeah.
To think that is the last image that's going to be him on WWE TV alive, and that's him getting booed. Yeah,
I'm not going to repeat what I said in one of our chats. That's all I'm going to say.
I know. It's just it's because it's still,
it is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it is, and we weren't going to talk about it. Like, it wasn't something I did want to talk about, but at the same time, I was just like, eh.
It bled in through the Vince McMahon conversation, though.
It did, and it's just like we're at a point too where it's like, I think it's more depressing because I didn't expect to be as many people that were bummed last weekend as there were, and there were a lot of friends of ours that were really bummed about it. And I mean, Boo-Ran, it was on and off. Friday it hit him, and then we talked a little bit about it during the weekend, but I think too but and there were other people too that were in our like circles that were like, twice, really? They already took Ozzy this week, and now this.
I mean, listen, I'm going to be fully transparent. I was more upset about Ozzy than I was Hogan.
No, I agree.
And it's hard because I feel like with Ozzy, I was upset, but I was kind of like, at least he's not suffering anymore with his back. Because I know his back had been bothering him for years. He got the surgery. It did not go well. He was in constant pain. So from that aspect, I was like, hey, man, thank you for everything. Thank you for the memories. I bonded over your songs millions of times. Thank you for that. And thank you for being you, because he was a good person too at the end of the day. Despite all his vices, despite all the crap he had gone through, Ozzy was a good person. And I felt bad, but I felt like, okay, thank you for everything, but I'm glad you're not in pain anymore with your back. I'm glad you're not suffering through that anymore. I know that you were suffering through the Parkinson's and everything, and from that perspective, I was like, okay, it was at least you're not suffering anymore. with Hogan, I feel like the last several years, kind of like you mentioned, him becoming, kind of that pariah. It was like, this sucks, and that was the only feeling I really had. It was not the same type of emotion I had with Ozzy at all.
I think the I was more with Ozzy. It was like I knew the end was coming anyways.
That's part of it too.
Like
Yeah.
I knew that it was probably not going to be any more music from anyways because he had his retirement and it was. I'm glad it also was his retirement and it's like there's not going to be another show. Like it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to do a Phil World Tour because they can't. It's like he's done. He's done. Like, and that part of it, I'm like, I'm glad that there's closure and it's set in stone. He can't go back on his word. Sharon can't push him out there. That's done.
He got one more show in that chair, and once I saw him in that chair for that show, I knew that was it.
And I'm glad that he got that.
Same. 100%.
I'm glad also that he was able to get that and he wasn't like Goldberg, where it was like nobody wanted to see it. Everybody came out to see it, and it meant something. The Hogan thing is difficult because it's just the more layers you peel back, it's just not good. It's not something you want to. As a character, he should be celebrated. As a man, it's like.
That's the thing. And, separating Ozzy from onstage Ozzy is invariably different from separating Hogan from Terry Bollea. And that's the biggest problem. Because even out in public, he's going by Hulk Hogan. He's such a public figure that that's the case. They both had their TV shows. They both shared their personal lives and their family lives. And I get it. People grow attached to shows like that. And that's okay. But again, when you look at the differences between the two guys, it's like night and day. It really is. And not for nothing, despite any grievances that Ozzy and his family had with each other, everybody was there for him in the end. Hulk, unfortunately, can't say that. So you have to kind of look at that with a little bit of a grain of salt and say, okay, is Brooke at fault here? Or was something Hulk did at fault?
Actually, I feel bad for her.
I do too.
Really, she's the one person in all of this I feel awful for.
I do too.
I don't feel bad for any of them.
I definitely do not feel bad for Nick. I can tell you that right now.
I do not feel bad for him at all. I'll never feel bad for him. And I feel like he's going to make out of this anyway. So it's like,
he probably will.
Only thing that I saw of the other night with him on Monday, and this is the only image that I got from this, and it was from the mass transit incident when they were wheeling him out of the locker room, and he was just like, "No, Dad, I'm one of the boys now." That quote just kept repeating in my head with Nick. I'm one of the boys now. That's what I got from that. And it fucking drove me nuts. Because the only reason you're there is because you're a Nepo baby. That's it. And you have Brooke, who completely separated from it. Completely. She's not even in the will anymore. Started her own life, started her own business, has her own kids, has her own husband, doesn't have to live off the Hulk Hogan name anymore. And there's Nick.
I mean, Nick doesn't have to either. He just chooses to because
he has nothing else.
He has nothing else, yeah. That's the problem.
He's the Hunter Biden as far as like these.
Oh, jeez.
It's the truth, though.
Smoke.
Oh, wait, actually.
Vast amount of marijuana.
Smoke.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Any closing thoughts from you about SummerSlam?
I mean, it should be a good show. I'm just trying to figure out what my I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to be eating on Saturday night. That's the only problem.
Trying to figure
Or
out what
on
I'm trying to
both
eat
nights.
on Saturday and Sunday because
Oh yeah, we have to
I am not waiting until X time to eat dinner on Sunday. I can tell you that right now, Mister.
Boo ran.
You know.
Yeah, that's right. If you're listening to this, we better figure this out. We better figure it out quick.
Yes, sir.
So don't give me any more of this. Boo, shut up.
Dude, if he says anything, I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'm going to Wingstop.
Exactly.
Wingstop.
Wingstop's got that 20 for 20 deal right now, anyways.
All right, so we should just tell him that then, and we're doing that. And then if he
We're doing
disagrees, too
Wingstop.
bad. We'll just get it ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go with him and get food. Okay, bye.
I'm gonna tell him we need to figure out while we're on the way, and if he doesn't figure it out by the time we are remotely close, like on I-95 off the Mass Pike, we're just going straight to Wingstop.
Because maybe Saturday, the missus is gonna be cooking because she just got her grill.
Oh, there you go.
So she's happy about that. I have a ceiling fan getting installed on Saturday afternoon, so that should be fun. Me trying to help someone and not knowing what the fuck I'm doing.
You hold
Sounds
it there while he
wonderful.
does everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
It's just like you do the wiring and I'll
I'll hold
stand
it in
here.
place. You do the wiring and screw it in, and we're good to go.
Exactly. But I hope everybody enjoys SummerSlam. If you're going, don't spend too much money.
Too late. If you're going, it's already too late.
Exactly. You've already sold your soul. It's like, oh, I'll just pay it in installments and not pay it back. Oh, okay, that's great. Destroy your credit.
Not a student
That's
loan. Sorry, guys. You do have to pay that back at some point.
On that note, I hope everybody has a great SummerSlam weekend. Try to be positive about it. We're going to try to go into this, and hopefully we can come out of this like we did with All In and be like, it was a perfectly booked show. They listen to us. But
God, I
also
hope so.
we have quite a bit of skepticism. But
We do.
hopefully that hopefully that it oversells.
Hopefully,
And
when we review this the
over-delivers.
next week, we don't have to talk about it overselling. Hopefully, it sells exactly what it's supposed to.
Exactly. All right. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Enjoy SummerSlam.